This one is from one of our unpluggers, Rebecca Peters. And she says, my sister says I ruminate too much about our past and dysfunctional family. What she doesn't recognize is that I've been doing the work of healing. I'll always be scarred and troubled to various degrees, but I found tools besides alcohol to deal with those scars, like walking, journaling, talking to, befriending other authentic champions. That's a good term, authentic champions. Befriending other authentic champions. It's doable, it's manageable without alcohol, without using alcohol to keep those troubles at bay. My question is, why does alcohol make people mean, loud, and aggressive? Would they still have that personality type without it? I think alcohol, definitely does change people's personalities over time, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. I think one of the big reasons has got to be the long-term damage to the brain, right? Mood swings, increased anxiety, memory problems, short-term and long-term memory problems. I mean, not only because you can't remember things, and you kind of need that for the socialize, for a relationship with somebody, but also as an internal thing, that you can't remember things, so it's going to affect your mood, because I think it just affects your mood negatively, because you know that there's a problem with it, right? So another problem with the brain is just the brain structure changes. So you've got brain shrinkage, especially here in the frontal lobe area. This is what we use to it's the part of the brain that's responsible for reasoning, for planning, for judgment, impulse control, all the things that you need in order to sort out your problems are being damaged. So, we often say that we sort out our problems because we're drinking alcohol, or we drink alcohol because we've got problems, and then we push those problems down. But eventually you need to sort out the problem. So if the thing that you're consuming, or the tool that you're using in order to temporarily solve those problems, is actually taken away from your ability to solve those problems, it's a big issue. No. Now, second, we only have so much time and energy. The older you get, the less time you've got, obviously, but also the less energy you have. When you're spending a big part of your life drinking and then recovering from that drinking, you have to subtract that time and energy away from living, away from progressing in your life, away from building a life that makes life worth living. Think about that. In order to make a life worth living, you've got to work at it, you've got to build, you've got to progress in life. You've got to feel like you're achieving something, you've got to feel like your life has meaning. So if the very thing that you're doing to relax or socialize or whatever it is subtracting from, not only from the quality of your life, but from your ability to build a life, and it's not that you're only not doing the building, you're going in the opposite way. You're building a life that is slowly and surely getting worse and worse and worse. It's not just about having that buzz in the moment. So all of this takes its toll. Every bit of it takes its toll. People think, oh, what's wrong with one or two drinks? Well, the problem is that people don't have, just one or two drinks. You and I both know that. It's one or two drinks, and then it's one or two drinks every day, and then it's more than one or two drinks, because your body is just like that. It gets a tolerance to the alcohol, so one or two drinks is not enough. When I started out first and I had one or two drinks, it used to get me drunk. When I was finished, one or two drinks was nothing. I used to order 2 drinks just to get the thirst away. So you can't live in the moment, in the same moment, doing 2 different things. When you go back to that, what we were talking earlier on about the brain changes that are happening, these are not only things that happen to you while you're intoxicated, these are things that last longer. Poor reasoning, poor planning, poor judgment, poor impulse control. These are all things that can become permanent states. and I'm not just talking about the permanent, if you damage your brain permanently, and that's a factor as well, it could happen, but because your brain is permanently, you're continuously being affected by the alcohol, right? So you're robbing the time that you drink, you're robbing the time when you're recovering from all the toxins in your body. You're robbing that from, as I said, the time that you could be progressing from, just building things in your life. So, we're talking here about why people are in bad moods, why people are consistently angry at other people because they see other people not doing the same things as them, especially when you'll find this a lot when you stop drinking, that some people will get to that stage where you tell them that you're not drinking, but they'll get angry at you, and it's a weird thing. Sometimes some people will even try and sabotage what you're doing. So, and it's a fact of that life, because people have that internal conflict. They understand that these things are going on. They understand that they want to stop. They want to continue drinking, but they also want to stop at the same time. They understand what's happening. It is what it is. The third thing is that you said it in your own comment. It's you. You're surrounding yourself with people. When I was drinking, I used to surround myself with drinkers, and they were upholding my habit. They were, when you drank a few and it was a great night last night, I had a really bad hangover this morning, it was a great night. No, it wasn't. You were poisoning yourself. But everyone claps each other on the back, and everyone enables the drug use. And that happens not just with drinkers, it happens it doesn't matter what the drug is, it's going to happen the same thing. This lady, she's surrounding herself with what she calls authentic champions, right? People who are authentic, people who are pushing her towards the thing that she wants to do in her life. And like I said, that's as good a way as any to describe these people. So if you befriend people who are going to lift you up, your outcomes are going to be better. If you be with people who not only have their own interests at heart, but also yours, that's important. Being with people who are looking after themselves, who have their own interests at heart. Be with people who have their own interests at heart. Those who look after themselves are good people to have in your life. People who drink regularly, they're going to attract like-minded friends. Think about that. Think about what that does for your mind, for your emotions, for your feelings, for your thinking. So it does depend on a lot of the things that you have outside of yourself. I'm convinced 99% of this is up here, but it is the decisions that you're making, and that is part of that decision. And finally, I think you also touched on something which is, I think, an absolutely vital point. And you said that this is doable, it's manageable without using alcohol to keep your troubles at bay. That's a problem for most people, no? You get into a cycle of using alcohol in order to push down your troubles. And that's all it does, is it pushes down your troubles, and eventually your troubles become so much that you can't push them down anymore. What's that going to do to you? So alcohol does nothing to keep your troubles at bay, except in appearance. It appears that you're keeping your feelings of trouble at bay, but what are you really doing? All you're really doing is keeping the symptoms at bay, the symptoms of the trouble, without dealing with any of the causes. And that's only true for the short term. As I said, you temporarily escape the thoughts and the feelings that your troubles bring you without actually dealing with any of the things that are actually causing the troubles. That's what you have to deal with. If you don't sort out those things that are troubling you in your life, that are troubling your life, they're not going to get better. They're only going to get worse. And not only are they going to get worse? The problems that you already have, you're going to be adding more troubles to the pile. So ask yourself, how is that going to work out for you in the long run? So listen, thanks for your very thoughtful insights, Rebecca. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time out to comment, and I hope you like the video. I hope everyone gets something out of this. For those who are on a similar journey, just consider the possibilities. Consider, if you're drinking and you find that your moods are taking you down a bad place all the time, think about stopping drinking. Even if it's only for a month, and see how far you go. If you want some help with that, we've got our free beginner's guide to getting and staying sober. It's in the link down below. It'll help you get a little bit closer to making that decision to stop drinking. Right? It'll give you a bit more comfort in knowing that you're doing the right thing. And if you're already committed to making lasting changes in your life, then our program Habits V2 is not just about avoiding alcohol. It's about embracing a life of clarity, of trying to build authenticity for yourself and genuine progress. Like Rebecca, we're all looking for tools that can help us to thrive in life without the need to think that we have to escape our problems with such a horrible toxin like alcohol. It's solving your problems, understanding that problems are not a bad thing in life. You get a problem, you solve it. Might get another problem, but then you solve that. Then you solve that and it brings up another problem. But that's what life is about, problem solutions. I think connecting with your authentic self, connect with our authentic champions. As Rebecca says, we've got a lot of authentic champions within our program. So click on the links in the description down below, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Onwards and upwards, Bye now.